All right, today we're going to be doing 2B, 2C, which is writing linear equations. So you have linear equations, which are straight lines, up, down, left, and right, and up and down. Per, which is going to mean your M. Initial, which is going to mean your B. And remember, M is slope. Then you have a table. We always put a table in Desmos. Now, this is the equation we want to use for linear for Desmos. The most important part is you have y equals mx plus b. The only things you were changing about this formula is the one right here, the squiggly replacing the equal sign, and the one right here below x. So let's read the first question. It says the graph of a linear function is shown on the grid. Which function is best represented by this graph? I have a graph. I need to make a table to match one of these. So I'm going to look at my graph and I'm going to find two perfect points. Remember, when I talk about perfect points, I do not mean this. This is not perfect, okay? I mean something where it's like right here. It's on that corner, but still on my line. So right here, this line is what we're trying to get points off of, right there. So I have 3 for my x value and 2 for my y value. Now I need to get another point off this line. Right here, we have another perfect point. This is good. For my x value, I have -3. For my y value, I have 6. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to put these 2 points in a table in Desmos, okay? So I'm going to create a table in Desmos plus table -3, 6, and 3, 2. Now I have my points. Now I need to write the y1 squiggly line mx1 plus b. This is what I want. My m is going to equal -0.66666667, and b equals 4. Now, here's where we start making our mistakes, and that's okay. Because we start seeing fractions, we start freaking out. What I need us to do is, I see this long decimal right here, this long decimal. In Desmos, I know that long decimal belongs to the letter M. So right here below that, I'm going to type in M. And do you see this like fraction sign that pops up right here? This is what I want. I'm going to tap that, and that gives me -2/3. That's what we want. That's what we want right there. Okay? Equals -2/3. So my answer has to have a -2/3 in it. -2/3. 6x, 4x, -3x, -2/3x. Remember, m is my slope, so m always goes with my x. So a cannot be right, b cannot be right, c cannot be right, and d has to be right. And even if we check the b value, 4, we have 4. That's it. All right, so let's go ahead and check out the second example. It says, at a restaurant, jars of tomato sauce are stored in boxes in the pantry. Each box contains 8 jars of tomato sauce. A cook uses 2 jars from one box of... Which function shows the relationship between y, oh, that should say total. My bad. Total number of jars of tomato sauce remaining in the pantry, and x, the number of boxes in the pantry. Here we have 3 numbers, okay? We have each box contains 8. Remember, when I see the word each, I need to think m, okay? So let me go ahead and check. I have, remember, m is always with x, so if each means m, 8 is with x, okay? So let's go to 8x, 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 6x. So I know D can't be my answer, okay? Now we need to look. We have the number 2, uses 2, and from one of the boxes. If I look at my answers, I only have something with 0, 6, and -2. So I know 1 is out of the question. It doesn't matter. But when we talk about using something, if you're using something, you are losing something. And if you are losing something, you are a negative. Okay, so -2. So right here, C would be my answer. And right here, my important words are going to be each and uses. Each and uses. Now this next question, we're going to need to hook up the computer real quick. I'll be right back. Last question. It says the graph of a linear function is shown on the grid. Which equation is best represented by this graph? So I have a graph and I have these equations. Now, I can do Desmos, but the only thing about this, if these are not in the same format as the y equals mx plus b, and since it's not in that format, the table won't work because it gives us m and b. Now here you have y plus y1 equals mx minus x1, I think, or maybe this is a minus, I don't know. Anyways, it's a long equation, okay? It's a long equation. But in this situation, I believe it's much easier to use true and false than it is to use Desmos. So sometimes when you get these crazy equations, we're just going to do true and false. Okay, so we're not going to use Desmos. So what I'm going to do is on this graph, I'm going to look at my line that they gave me right here, and I'm going to pick another perfect point off of here. So right here, this looks like a great point right here. And for my x value, I have 7. For my y value, I have 2. Now, x and y. This is important to me because this is what I'm going to use for the true-false. When we are doing true-false, this goes for a ton of different questions, so this is great practice. So what we're going to do is we're plugging x in with 7, so right here, 7, 7, 7, 7, and then we're plugging this for y. Y, 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 y. When we plug them in, we want to put parentheses. You need to put parentheses. So we're doing parentheses 7. So right here, it's parenthesis, parenthesis, okay? Parenthesis 7, parenthesis. See how there's 2 parentheses? You have 1 parenthesis, then a second parenthesis. That's how you're going to type it into the calculator, please. Okay, sorry. Then we have the 2. Parenthesis 2, parenthesis 2, parenthesis 2, parenthesis 2. Now that I have everything written out, now I get to go to my calculator. Calculator, calculate, and I have my screen. I'm going to start with 8. Parenthesis 2, parenthesis, plus 2 equals, to get that fraction, control, divide, or however you do it, 7 over 5, parenthesis, 7 in the parenthesis, plus 7 in the parenthesis. Now see right here how we have the double parenthesis, that's what we want. Enter, and that gives me false. So I know A cannot be my answer. Now let's try B. Parenthesis 2, parenthesis, plus, no wait, minus 2 equals control divide 7 over 5, parenthesis, 7 in the parenthesis, minus 7 in the parenthesis, enter. And that gives me true. Now, we can't say this is my answer yet because we might have 2 truths. With these, it's really easy to get 2 truths. Parenthesis 2, parenthesis, plus 2 equals control divide 5 over 7, parenthesis, 7, parenthesis, plus 7, parenthesis, enter. And that gives me false, so we're on a good start. Only have 1 true. Now, let's go ahead and check D just to make sure. Parenthesis 2, parenthesis, minus 2 equals control divide 5 over 7, parenthesis, 7 in the parenthesis, minus 7, enter. And it gave me 2 truths. This is where the issue starts, okay? We have a true and we have a true. So now that I have 2 truths, I need to go back to my graph and I need to pick another perfect point. So when I look at this graph, I see another perfect point right here, way down here. So for my x value, I have -7. For my y value, I have -8. So we have -7, -8. We're going to do the same thing we just got done doing. I know it seems very tedious, but it's an easy question not to get right. So we're going to recopy them. Y minus 2 equals 5 over 7, x minus 7. So for my x value, right here, I am plugging in -7. So parentheses -7, parentheses -7. For my y value, I'm plugging in -8. -8, -8. Remember, this is only answer choice B and D that we are dealing with. A and C are already out. So let's try B. Parentheses, negative 8 parentheses minus 2 equals control divide 7 over 5 parenthesis negative 7 in the parenthesis minus 7 enter, and that gives me false. So let's try D, and hopefully that will be my answer. Parentheses negative 8 parentheses minus 2 equals control divide 5 over 7 parenthesis negative 7 minus 7 enter, and that gives me true. So the big thing about this is if you were to have picked B just because you got the true and you didn't check the other answers, you would have gotten this wrong. And this was a past STAAR question. They put them on there so you get the first one wrong. You have to check every answer. All right, let me know if you have any questions. Make sure to like and subscribe. Have a great day. Bye.